Today marks day 2 in the search for a 7-year-old girl who disappeared, forcing authorities to issue an Amber Alert.
One of the toughest investigations that I've been involved in.
은밀하게 살해 현장을 은폐하는 범인.
Kind of towards the middle of the screen, and then a little bit in the middle, very middle, you can see was a hand that was barely visible out of
where police found her body last Friday in Wise County. It is a wooded area near water, and according to court documents, Athena was found in that water.
사건 발생 이틀 만에 잔혹한 살인마가 전격 체포되었습니다. 그리고 그의 입에서 그날의 진실을 듣게 되는데
You tried to break her neck? I tried to break her neck, make it as quick and painless as possible, but it didn't work. She started crying.
다가올 크리스마스 선물로 바비 인형을 간절히 기다렸던 7살 어린아이. 그리고 완벽한 범행을 꿈꿨던 페덱스 배달기사. 과연 법원은 이 잔혹한 살인마에게 어떤 처벌을 내렸을까? 지금부터 저와 함께 이 사건의 충격적인 전말을 바닥까지 파헤쳐 보겠습니다. 처벌 실화냐? (2022년 11월 30일) 저녁 텍사스주 와이즈 카운티가 발칵 뒤집혔습니다. 7살 소녀 아테나가 감쪽같이 사라진 것이죠.
And today marks day 2 in the search for a 7-year-old girl who disappeared, forcing authorities to issue an Amber Alert.
If you haven't seen her picture yet, please stop what you're doing and take a look. That's 7-year-old Athena Strand.
엄마의 다급한 911 신고. 경찰과 구조대, 지역 주민들까지 총동원되어 밤샘 수색을 벌였지만 아이의 흔적은 그 어디에도 없었습니다.
Athena Strand has been missing for 37 hours, and police say that there are still no leads.
그런데 현장에 출동한 FBI 수사관의 눈에 띄는 물건이 하나 있었습니다. 아테나의 집 앞마당에 덩그러니 놓여있던 택배 상자. 그 안에는 아이를 위한 크리스마스 선물, 바비 인형이 들어있었습니다. FBI는 직감했습니다. 이 택배가 아이가 사라진 시간과 맞물려 있다는 것을 말이죠. 즉시 배송 기록을 추적했고 한 남자의 이름을 찾아냅니다. 하청업체 소속의 페덱스 배달원 테너 호너였습니다. 실종 다음 날인 12월 1일 수사팀은 아무렇지 않게 배달 업무를 하고 있던 테너 호너를 찾아갔습니다. 어제 아테나의 집에 방문한 적이 있냐는 요원의 질문에 용의자는 짐짓 당황한 기색을 보이며 이렇게 답했죠.
And he stated that after the address that he's delivering at while we're talking to him is a fairly short distance from the crime scene. And at that time when we were speaking to him in person, he stated that after he had driven by the crime scene and saw law enforcement, that he remembered that delivery.
Some indication of what he remembered about the incident that took place at this point still less than 24 hours earlier, correct?
Yes, sir. He advised us that he recalled the house looking run down and that he was basically initially start thinking that he didn't want to deliver there until he saw what he thought may have been the homeowner leaving in a vehicle and turning left out of the driveway.
And did he describe that vehicle for you?
Yes, he described the vehicle as a older green Chevy Astro van, and specifically with sunspots on the hood and on the roof, and a piece of the panel, like the lower panel, missing on the driver door close to the front wheel. And then towards the end of the conversation, he got very emotional and almost to the point of crying, and stated to us that he couldn't believe something like this would happen and that he had his own child.
경찰의 초기 수사력은 그 초록색 밴을 찾는데 집중됐습니다. 수많은 CCTV를 뒤지고 수배령을 내리며 천금 같은 골든타임이 흘러갔죠. 하지만 현장 경험이 많은 요원들은 용의자의 말만 절대적으로 믿지 않습니다. 수사팀은 용의자의 진술을 검증하기 위해 차량 데이터를 교차 분석하기 시작했고 마침내 치명적인 모순을 발견해냈습니다.
There was about a 45-minute time period that should have been a drive time of approximately 11 to 12 minutes. So it gave us basically a half an hour of question that we wanted to ask Mr. Horner further about. He stated he didn't feel well on the route, that he then began driving back towards the Alliance area, pulled over on the side of a random road, threw up, and then continued to a Love's, threw up again before continuing back to the FedEx location. On the information we obtained from FedEx, that was the last package he had delivered that was not marked as delivered in the FedEx system. And then after that, he had another approximately 4 or 5 packages that he was supposed to deliver.
여기에 페덱스 관리자로부터 기묘한 이야기까지 전해 듣게 되는 수사관들.
Hey, I'm just giving you a heads up. I would give me the same truck tomorrow because it kind of smells like barf in here. I guess I just ate something bad earlier, but I kind of threw up in the back of the truck, which I'm still good to work tomorrow. Don't worry. But I did eat something that didn't agree with me, and it kind of stinks now.
수상쩍은 점들이 계속해서 꼬리를 물고 나타나자 수사팀은 다시 한번 용의자를 찾아가 강도 높은 추궁을 이어갔습니다.
We initially spoke about the time discrepancy again, and basically told him that what we spoke about on the phone, we learned now to not be true. And then we further asked him about the green van that he had initially told us during the first interview. I Googled and found a picture of a older green Chevy Astro van. I showed Mr. Horner my phone and asked him if the vehicle on the screen matched what he saw in the driveway the day before.
And what was his response?
He stated that vehicle was very similar to the one from the driveway.
거짓말이 들통날 위기에 처하자 극도의 심리적 압박을 견디지 못한 걸까?
Mr. Horner in the FedEx van backed out of the driveway, across the road, and then struck a tree on the other side of the road.
이성을 잃고 통제력을 상실한 돌발 행동. 바로 이 순간 수사관들은 확신했습니다. 저자가 이 사건의 가장 핵심적인 진실을 감추고 있다는 것을 말입니다. 그리고 그때 판도를 바꿀 단서가 수사관에게 전달되었습니다.
2nd of December, we obtained further information from FedEx. All the vans were equipped with a dash cam.
Yeah, they just watched never-before-released footage from a camera mounted inside his delivery van, giving them a glimpse into the final moments of Athena Strand.
FBI는 즉각 외부 업체를 통해 호너가 몰던 트럭의 대시캠 클라우드 데이터를 확보했습니다. 그리고 그 영상을 확인한 요원들은 치밀어 오르는 경악과 분노를 금치 못했습니다. 사실 호너의 이상 행동은 며칠 전부터 시작됐습니다. 배달 중 렌즈에 포스트잇과 스티커를 붙여 카메라를 가리는 행동을 반복했습니다. 마치 뭔가를 연습하듯 말이죠. 그리고 어느 집에 배달 갔을 땐 어른을 먼저 부르는 행동까지 보였습니다.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was just making sure, kind of. Not too bad. Oh, man.
사건 당일 범인은 또다시 카메라를 가렸습니다. 그리고 피해자 아테나의 집에 방문했습니다. 그리고 후진을 하던 테너는 마당에 있던 아테나를 가볍게 치고 말았습니다. 범인은 아이에게 다가가 짧은 드라이브를 하러 가자며 트럭 어두운 짐칸으로 아이를 유인했습니다. 그리고 트럭 안에서 아테나는 자신이 납치된 줄도 모르고 범인과 대화를 나눴죠. 잠시 후 인적이 끊긴 사유도로에 도착한 트럭. 테너는 아이에게 뒤를 돌아보라고 했습니다. 그리고 순식간에 아이의 목을 꺾어 죽이려 시도했습니다. 그런데 그 계획은 실패로 돌아갔고 아테나는 겁에 질려 울부짖기 시작했습니다. 그리고 그는 거기서 끝나지 않고 목을 졸라 살해하고 시신을 유기했습니다. 그리고 잠시 후 어딘가로 이동하는 범인. 한참 동안 달려 도착한 장소는 러브스트럭 휴게소였습니다. 뭔가를 사러 나가는 듯한 모습을 보인 범인. 그가 차에 다시 도착했을 때 손에 있던 것은 살해 현장을 은폐하기 위한 도구였습니다. 그렇게 오랫동안 살해 현장을 은폐하는 범인. 그리고 그는 어딘가로 전화를 하기 시작합니다.
I kind of threw up in the back of the truck, which I'm still good to work tomorrow, don't worry. But I did eat something that didn't agree with me and it kind of stinks now.
바로 페덱스 관리자에게 전화를 한 것이었죠. 자신의 범행이 들킬까 두려워 내일도 같은 배차로 배정해달라고 요구한 것입니다.
I just stopped at Love's and I used some paper towels and some sanitizer spray.
Well, see what you can do quickly to clean it up. And I'll let Chase know.
Oh, no, I mean, I already cleaned it up. I just got done cleaning it up.
All right, well, we'll bring something tomorrow to kind of spray it down. But yeah, we'll get you back in that truck.
Yeah, it smells bad. I got rid of the throw up. I couldn't get rid of the smell.
Okay, definitely thank you for letting me know. I hope you're feeling better.
Oh, no, after I threw up, I felt a lot better. I was feeling a little bit nauseous all day. But clearly I've got rid of whatever it was.
I appreciate you knocking out the route.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can deal with being nauseous.
All right, man. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Alright, me too.
All right, take care.
그리고 자신의 여자친구에게 전화를 걸었죠. 그렇게 통화를 마친 그는 집으로 돌아갔습니다. 뭔가를 가방에 넣는 장면이 포착됐습니다. 그것은 바로 아이의 옷들이었죠. 하지만 여기서 끝이 아니었습니다. 사건 바로 다음 날인 12월 1일, 테너가 수색 현장을 유유히 지나쳐 간 것이 카메라에 찍혔습니다.
Hey, can you tell them I need to get through? There's like people in a vehicle in the way. Huh? No, like that's the only way out. I have more packages to deliver. That's the only way out, and there's like more packages I need to deliver.
You can pull up and try to ask them to get through, but there's been a kidnapping. So it's all blocked off. So you'll have to just pull up and ask them if they'll let you through, but there's been a 7-year-old taken.
Are you serious?
That's what all this is for.
Just wondering what all this. Oh, are you serious?
So if you pull up and ask the officers right here if they'll let you through, but it's all blocked off.
이 모든 끔찍한 장면을 분석한 FBI. 그들은 더 이상 지체하지 않았습니다. 사건 발생 불과 이틀 만인 12월 2일 늦은 오후, 수사팀은 도로 위에서 범인 테너 호너를 체포했습니다.
Step out, keep your hands up. Step out, turn around, turn around, turn around. Face away from me. Face away from me. What is this? What you got in your pocket? Keys? Tanner? Yes, sir. Okay.
2022년 12월 2일 와이즈 카운티 보안관실 취조실. 경찰에 체포된 테너는 마침내 그날의 진실에 대해 털어놓기 시작합니다.
Let's start off with what we've already talked about, okay? On when you got the little girl, you went to that residence to deliver a package. Okay, and what happened?
When I was trying to get myself situated to where, you know, I have an easy way to get out of the property, I kind of backed up and hit her.
Okay, and then what happened?
She seemed like she wasn't too incredibly hurt, but it was a panic.
Okay, so she's still talking to you, and what'd she say?
She was worried that I was a kidnapper.
And what'd you tell her?
I told her no. She kept asking where we were going. I didn't know what to tell her, so I would just talk to her about random things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
It's okay. You didn't what?
She was a sweet kid.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then what happened?
I was driving around for a bit just trying to figure out what I was going to do about the situation.
And what'd she do?
Asking questions, we're just talking at this point.
Yeah, is she sitting down? Is she standing up? Is she in the passenger seat? Where's she at?
She's standing up. She's in the back.
Okay. What's she asking?
Just random things. Like, I just had her talking.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I don't know.
And then where'd you go?
We went down this private road and I listened to that little voice again.
What it takes to. Then how'd you hurt her? It's okay. It's alright. It's alright. How'd you hurt her?
No, it's not alright.
Well, no, it's alright to tell me. It's okay to tell me. You gotta get it off your chest. Look, then let's talk about how she ended up after you heard her. Where did you take her?
I sat on the private road trying to figure out what I was going to do from that point. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just started heading back to the station. And then when I was driving back to the station, I saw the bamboo and tossed somebody in there.
Okay. Obviously, if you tossed her there, we're going to find her. So was she fully clothed? And you mentioned she didn't have any shoes on.
No, she didn't have shoes.
Okay. Wearing socks, barefooted?
Socks.
Okay. You remember what clothes she was wearing?
I mean, I think like shorts or jeans or something.
Okay.
There was a lot going on through my head at the time. I didn't.
Is there any voices telling you anything at that time? After you, just to get her out of the truck or anything like that? Or was that just kind of a decision you made?
I just tossed her in. Like, I couldn't just keep running around with the kid in the back like that. I just tossed her in the bush or whatever you want to call that.
And you sure she was not alive at that time?
I was relatively sure.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't check her heartbeat or anything, but I'm relatively sure that she wasn't alive.
Okay. How did it start? Did you explain that you had to do what you had to do? I mean, can you give me something on that?
I just told her to turn around and
you choked her? One hand or two hands? Two. Like, was she facing away from you while you were choking her? Oh, you tried to break her neck?
I tried to break her neck, make it as quick and painless as possible, but it didn't work. She started crying.
When you got her in the truck, let's talk about that. Did you just pick her up into the truck, or did you ask her to get in?
I asked her to get in.
Okay, so she listened to you, got in the truck, and then you drive from your route immediately, start kind of heading back to the station, right?
No. After that, that's when we went down the private road because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do.
Okay. So you get in the truck, she's standing up talking to you. You gotta drive down the private road, and that's when the voice tells you, hey, you need to hurry up, you need to get ready for a ride. Am I right in that correct? If I'm missing something. And then you ask her to face away from you, and you try to break her neck at first, but she started crying. When you said try to break her neck, did you try to spin it? How did you do that?
Try to spin it.
Like spin one hand on the chin, one hand on top of the head, hand on the side of the head, or how? Okay, and that didn't work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But she was facing away from you when you did that?
Yes, sir.
So then
I couldn't take it if she was sitting there in pain. I wanted to do it as quick as possible, and it didn't work. And sorry.
Now, we accomplished that, trying to find out where she's at, right? We haven't found her yet, or that I know of, so now we're going to get into some of that why. Why did you mainly do her because you didn't want to get in trouble for hitting her with FedEx, or legally, or what?
Essentially, it almost seems like it was a dream. For the most part, it just kind of seems like I wasn't, you know what I mean? Seems like I wasn't behind the wheel at the time.
Out of body experience, so to speak.
Almost.
Okay.
Almost. Stuff like that's happened my entire life, where I'll have these out of body experiences. Mostly when I'm getting in a fight with someone or something like that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I'll kind of phase out and not know what's going on. Other times I'll just kind of be in the back seat almost. I guess it's a county road, the one right across from 2123, and that's when I threw her in the bush.
Okay. Tanner, again, we'll get, we're not going to get jammed up on what happened. Obviously, the why is always more important. But there are some details that we need to know So obviously when we work these type of investigations, right, a medical examiner's body looks at the body, right, to determine how this person passed away. So we're going to know some of the what, right? We're going to be able to essentially corroborate what you're telling us now, right? So is there anything else we're going to know? Because I don't want you to lie to me now. So I'm going to shoot you straight, just like I want you to shoot me straight, all right? Put yourself in my boots, so don't lie to me, because you know how it is. Do you like being lied to?
No, sir.
Okay. So
I think I know what you're about to ask, and no, I didn't.
what am I going to ask?
You're going to ask if I sexually assaulted her, and I did not.
You didn't sexually assault her?
No, sir.
So everything's going to tell me that you didn't sexually assault her?
With my medication now, I don't even really have much of a libido.
Okay.
Like my fiance will even tell you that it kind of pisses her off most of the time.
Okay. So this, whenever the doctors or whatever examine her body, they're going to tell me that she wasn't sexually assaulted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go back a little bit into the private road. Was it pretty close to where she lived?
Relatively, it's like, okay, so
hang on, let's go right here. We got a board to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
수사관의 논리적인 추궁에 변명거리가 바닥난 테너 오너. 그때 취조실 화이트보드에 붉은색 펜으로 무언가를 적기 시작합니다.
Okay, so say this is 2123, this is that road, right? Then we
Hang on a
have
second. Let's light it. This is what?
2123.
Okay.
So there's different ways to get to, there's this like little area, right? I went up through here, through 2123, I came down, and the private road is over here. And there's like multiple houses back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hang on. Now let's get into, okay, so where's her house at in proximity to this? Okay.
Also, this is bugging me. This is a lot closer to.
Oh, yeah.
This is right here.
Mm-hmm.
I went to about. I was in this area.
Yeah. So we're here. 35. Oh, 35. 75. Which road did you come up?
It comes up 35, 55.
So you come up 35, 55.
Yeah, I came up 21, 23. I came in through here.
Okay, so you came the back way.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where you are at. You are there how long, you think?
20, 30 minutes.
Okay. So 20, 30 minutes there.
Yeah, at first I was going to try to leave the body down there, but people kept driving past.
Okay.
So I was just like, maybe not right here.
Okay. So you were going to dump her off right there on that private road, but decided, hey, I need to go further.
I wanted to put her somewhere where someone could find her easily.
Okay.
In all honesty, man, I'm a parent. Like,
Yeah.
I want my kid found.
Yeah, that's what happened. Look at me when I tell you this. This is what I'm trying to do right now. I want to bring her home. That's why we're going through this, because I want to bring her home. Okay? So look at me. You got to help me bring her home. Okay? You going to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
There you go, Tanner. That's 3 marks on that. That's about closer than you get right there.
Okay.
So we were there. I was sitting there, like trying to figure out how I was going to get rid of the body.
Okay, so the bamboo brush is right here. And where'd you park your truck? Like right on the road, off the side of the road? So you're on the road here. And then what do you do from there? Let's talk about what your next course of action is.
Got the truck, I sat for a minute, thought about everything. I ended up throwing up in the back of the truck. Like it was.
Did she bleed or anything in that truck?
I don't know.
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay. Is she gonna have any like cuts or anything like that on her when we found her?
I mean, I did kind of throw her in there as possible.
Oh, so you're talking about just cuts from the bamboo or whatever, not from something you did to it?
No.
Okay.
I'm not some psychopath, so. Because I don't think I am.
So then after you dump her, she's fully clothed, right?
Sure.
Okay. Back home, and you can draw that down here.
So I went 114 pretty much all the way. I had to stop a couple times because.
Where'd you stop?
On the road.
Okay, just on the road?
Yeah.
What'd you stop for?
So,
Okay. Did you throw outside the truck, up outside the truck, or inside the truck?
A little bit of both. At one point I got it on the side of the truck, and then I stopped at Love's to kind of clean out.
Okay.
Yeah, the truck still smells like they're hot.
Okay. Describe that to me. Describe that truck to me. What's the back look like? Does it have a side door and a back door, or is it just one back slide?
Yeah, all of them have a side door and back door.
Okay. So all of them have that. That's what it is. And the cab to the front of the truck, is it connected with the bed? Obviously.
Sure.
Okay. Again, that's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. By the way, I do think she pooped herself. Also, when I don't want to say it, but you get what I'm saying.
When you choked her. And here's the deal, Tanner. Remember, we're going to be completely honest to each other. All right? So, honesty and transparency means that we talk to each other and we don't hold back from each other, and that we talk to each other direct, right? Sir. You respect that, right? You told me earlier that's what you expect of me.
Yes, sir.
And I think I've proven that thus far, have I not?
Sir.
Okay, so that's what I expect. So don't hold back from me, man. We're in this now, right? So these details and these small things and the things you say to me, okay, they're not so small because there's a bigger picture. Remember, I keep talking about that bigger picture, all right? So we have to be honest with each other, and we can't hold anything back, all right? This is the time to get it off your chest. You can't keep any of this bottled up. You can't keep anything from you, because if you do, it'll tear you up inside, okay? Let me tell you this, all right? At any point in that, did you think about just letting her out?
I did.
Okay, why did you do that?
Can y'all just...
Need a minute?
Can y'all just shoot me in the head?
No, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Please.
You need a minute?
No, I just want to be with my family.
You'll get a chance to talk to your family and kind of explain it to them, okay? I tell you what, this is a lot for you, and I can tell that you kind of probably didn't catch your thoughts for a minute. So give us just a second.
I need nicotine.
Nicotine? I'll tell you, I can do that. Let me get you a cigarette or something. A cigarette or tobacco? Chewing tobacco? What do you like?
Cigarette, for sure.
Let me find you a cigarette, and then we'll talk a little bit more, okay?
제로. 자신은 다중인격을 앓고 있으며 머릿속에 또 다른 자아인 제로가 살인을 지시했다는 겁니다.
Alright, Tanner, I got working on smoke for you. You heard Danny Riley, he's also with the Rangers.
Well, did you try to hide her?
I tried to make it to where somebody would find her.
Where somebody would find her? Now, how did you do that?
By not throwing her too far in.
Why would you want her to be found?
Because I'm a parent. I wouldn't want to know. I would not want to know.
Okay. During the next couple of days, you didn't return?
No, sir.
Why? You're a parent.
I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know what was... I was hearing updates about this constantly.
I was just going to ask you that.
Fucking with me.
Did you see it on social media? Did you see it on the news?
Well, you met with the FBI the other day and you didn't tell them you're a parent. And you didn't tell them the truth. Right? They were looking for her then and you're a parent and you didn't tell them.
That wasn't me.
So, that wasn't you. What do you mean?
That wasn't me.
What do you mean that wasn't you? They didn't talk to you?
They talked to me, but they didn't talk to me.
Okay. Interpret that for me.
What'd you write that for on the board? When we stepped out, you wrote that. Why'd you write that?
Because if I say too much, I'm going to die.
Why do you say that?
Zero's gonna hurt me.
Who? Who's gonna hurt you?
Zero's gonna hurt me.
Zero? Like Z-E-R-O? Well, listen to me. We need to know some of these things, all right? And we're here. We'll protect you, all right? We'll get you the help you need. So you got to trust us on that. Okay?
How can you stop me from hurting me?
We can keep you safe, okay? Are you gonna trust me? You can continue to trust me?
I trust you.
Okay. I want
He
you
doesn't.
Okay, listen to me. I want you and Zero to trust me.
He's telling me this is all a trap.
There's no trap.
형량을 줄이기 위해 심신미약을 주장하려는 너무나도 얄팍하고 역겨운 주장이었습니다.
So, you can use some more water, we'll take another ride. You know, it's just about doing the right thing. And it's hard to do the right thing when you agree.
What is it when they kept telling me the idea to get rid of her?
Yeah.
I just wanted to leave her there and hope that she wouldn't tell anybody.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to say that. I mean,
This is one of those probation things. This is one of those I'm going away for a long time things, and I'm going to miss out all of my fucking son's life. I would rather die.
하지만 기괴한 연기와 변명에도 진실을 향한 수사는 멈추지 않았습니다. 수사팀은 호너의 자백과 트럭에 남은 대시캠 영상 기록을 근거로 대대적인 수색을 벌였고 마침내 살해된 아테나의 시신을 찾아냈습니다.
Disturbing new details just released in the death of 7-year-old Athena Strand. This is video of where police found her body last Friday in Wise County. It is a wooded area near water, and according to court documents, Athena was found in that water.
A shaken sheriff Friday confirming 7-year-old Athena Strand has been found dead. Her body discovered less than 10 miles from her driveway.
그런데 시신이 발견된 장소는 취조실에서 말했던 도로변 대나무 덤불이 아니었습니다. 7살 아테나가 차갑게 식은 채 발견된 곳은 다리 및 어두운 강물 속이었습니다. 일자리를 지키기 위해 무고한 어린 생명을 무참히 앗아가고 그것도 모자라 다중인격 행세까지 하며 끝까지 법망을 빠져나가려 발버둥친 끔찍한 살인마. 과연 법의 심판대는 이 괴물에게 어떤 형량을 내리게 될까? 이제 법정으로 시선을 옮겨보겠습니다. 2022년 겨울 와이즈 카운티를 넘어 전 미국을 분노케 했던 7살 아테나 스트랜드 납치살인 사건. 드디어 이 끔찍한 악마 테너 호너를 심판하기 위한 재판이 열렸습니다. 호너는 취조실에서 범행을 패닉에 빠진 우발적 사고로 위장했고 심지어 제로라는 다중인격이 시킨 일이라며 책임을 회피하려 했습니다. 이에 맞선 검찰의 법정 전략은 아주 명확하고 치밀했습니다. 피고인의 얄팍한 거짓말을 압도적인 과학적 물증으로 하나하나 산산조각 내는 것. 검찰은 피고인의 숨통을 서서히 조이기 위해 철저하게 계산된 순서대로 증인들을 법정에 소환하기 시작합니다. 검찰이 첫 번째로 세운 증인은 수사 초기부터 호너를 추적했던 경찰 수사관이었습니다. 피고인이 얼마나 교활하게 수사망을 농락했는지 배심원들에게 폭로하기 위함이었습니다.
Just describe for the jury how it was that you became aware of it and what you did as a result.
Yes, sir. I was called by another agent who was on scene there was a FedEx package that was delivered to the victim address during the timeline of question, and that other agent basically asked me to follow down that box and figure out who delivered it.
Okay. What did you do first in order to try to investigate that lead?
We went to multiple FedEx locations, with the last one finally being the FedEx location in Alliance, to identify where the package originated and left from that FedEx location.
And were you able to determine that that package did in fact originate at that location?
Yes, sir.
And did you ask them to try to obtain that video information from the vehicle that Tanner Horner had been driving on November 30th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Now, was that able to be done on the first?
No, sir.
But on the second, did you receive video from that van?
Yes, sir. During the afternoon of the second, we obtained video from Velociter, which is the company that runs the dash cams.
Now, were they able to give you a full video of the entire event?
At the time, during the afternoon of the second, no, sir. The first video we obtained was basically a phone recording of a screen of the dash cam.
Did you see something on that piqued your interest?
Yes, sir. It was a phone screen recording of a video of Mr. Horner placing a small girl into the back of his FedEx van.
And was the time on that video consistent with the time that Athena Strand went missing?
Yes, sir, as far as I recall.
Now, at approximately the same time, based upon other information that you had already obtained with regard to the routes and those sort of things, was there action being taken to try to detain Mr. Horner?
Yes, sir. At the same time that we obtained that video, myself and Agent Hogan were doing surveillance on Mr. Horner during his route on the second.
So for a little while on the first, you were diverted to speak to family members. Why was it that they were focused on speaking to family members when you're in the middle of investigating this?
A lot of time during law enforcement investigations into a missing child abduction, your family is likely suspects. So one of our initial jobs is to follow any lead, but usually talk to the family and identify further leads from them.
And so, because you all do, I guess, the big thing that you see on TV with the FBI is profiling, right?
Yes, sir. Basically getting it's a behavioral analysis unit. I'm not a member of it, but they basically will intake all the facts the field will get to basically create a profile of who they would generally believe to be the suspect.
And is there a lot of things that go into those kind of profiles?
Yes, sir.
Statistics and other things?
Yes, sir.
And with regard to that, is it often true that a person that is responsible for abducting a young child is often either a family member or somebody that knows that child?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The stranger abductions are less common or more rare, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so with regard to this case, you were able to kind of help lead in the right direction with regard to Mr. Horner. What changed on the morning of the first as far as now you're back on surveilling Mr. Horner?
The morning of the second was when
I apologize.
Yes, sir. We obtained the official records of the deliveries, and basically there were some anomalies of the last package delivered was the one before the victim address of the Strand household. Then we know the Strand package was delivered because it was on their doorstep, but not marked delivered. And then there was 4 or 5 more packages that should have been delivered that night that were not delivered.
In fact, just coincidentally, did you later learn that the first delivery first time you met him, he was delivering a package he should have delivered the night before?
Yes, sir. Looking at the tracking numbers for all the deliveries he did not make on the 30th, the one of the packages he was delivering when we walked up to him the first time on the 1st was supposed to be delivered on the 30th by him. It was not. It was put back on the truck and then delivered by Mr. Horner on the 1st.
But he was delivering did he seem to be doing his normal route and doing his deliveries just like any other day at that point?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever admit to you at any time that he had anything to do with the disappearance of Athena Strand?
No, sir.
I'll pass the witness.
Cross-examination.
No question, Your Honor. We have no issue.
All right. You may step down. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
검찰은 곧바로 현장 증거를 압수한 감식관을 증인석으로 불렀습니다.
What are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 97?
So this would be one of the entry photos to start the search of the van. One of the initial photos that we would take with some.
And what are we looking at here in this picture?
So this is the back of the van as we found it that day when we responded to process it. It was still loaded with packages. that hadn't been delivered yet or had just been picked up.
And what do we see here in this photo?
So this looks like the front passenger side, and it's a backpack and appears to be a hoodie.
Now, this backpack and hoodie, we're talking about the abduction van. Whose backpack and hoodie is that? Is that Tanner Horner's or someone else's?
Sustain, don't lead your witness.
Whose backpack is that?
It's unclear, but we did know that Tanner Horner was not driving the vehicle when it was seized at the time. So our assumption there was that it was the current driver's. I don't have his name, but not Tanner Horner's. And this is the area where the ranger said they thought they saw some children's clothes, specifically a little girl's clothes. So dead center, a little bit bottom of center, there is what looks to be like a little sock. I think at one point they were just, it seemed like whoever, whether it was the defendant or other people who lived on the property, were just kind of dumping trash there. Over there, just to the right of the number 3, are small in size, looks like little girls' blue jeans.
영상 속에서 피고인이 백팩에 쑤셔 넣었던 아이의 옷. 그 옷은 피고인의 집 쓰레기 더미에서 발견됐습니다.
States Exhibit 73. And so what are we looking at here?
So that's that sock, item number 1.
And I'm showing you now what has been marked as States Exhibit 78.
So this would be the other side, the front side of the blue jeans. And from this, I told the rangers that were out there, I can't remember exactly which ranger, and they were able to see it and relay that back to the other investigative teams that were either talking to the family or talking with the defendant to see if that's an accurate description of what she was wearing at the time of the abduction. So, and we also note when we saw this, you can see there's something in that leg, the pant leg, so looks like a sock, which it turns out to be a sock.
Now I'm showing you what's been admitted as States Exhibit 79. And so what are we looking at here?
So these are the blue jeans with the sock removed.
이 완벽한 증거에 벼랑 끝으로 몰린 변호인단. 할 수 있는 거라곤 그저 절차적 꼬투리를 잡는 것뿐이었습니다. 이제 검찰은 피고인의 잔혹성을 증명할 결정적 증인을 소환합니다.
I've been on law enforcement for 16 years, at the sheriff's office the whole time. I've been on SWAT, K-9 patrol for the last 8 years, been in crime scene. I'm currently the supervisor and the head over our crime lab there at the county, and also a fingerprint expert in the state of Texas.
And how long is your total number of law enforcement years experience?
16.
And since the time you've been in crime scene work, you and I have done a number of cases together, would you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Including a number of homicide cases.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance?
Yes, sir.
Let's move on.
Well, with regard to that, you're familiar with investigating homicide cases, correct?
Yes, sir.
체포 당시 피고인이 신고했던 진흙투성이의 검은색 운동화를 증거로 제시했습니다.
Publishing States Exhibit number 194 first. What are we looking at here?
Pair of black tennis shoes covered in mud.
What are we looking at here?
The texture on the bottom of the shoes and how much mud the shoes are actually holding.
And is there a distinctive tread pattern that you can see there?
Yes.
Can you just, as best you can for purposes of the record, can you describe what you're looking at?
Yeah, it's like a ongoing up and down, like elongated W pattern.
And going back to where we can see both shoes, although there's mud on top at this point, do both shoes have that same distinctive tread pattern?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you asked to take these specific photographs?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the purpose of that, in your understanding?
We were looking for different patterns to match the pattern on the victim's face.
Objection, Your Honor, that's hearsay.
Overruled. You can answer.
You can say that again.
We were looking for a pattern to match the pattern on the little girl's face.
밑창에는 위아래로 이어지는 길쭉한 W자 모양의 패턴이 새겨져 있었죠. 아이의 얼굴에는 피고인이 신고 있던 신발 밑창의 패턴이 멍자국으로 선명하게 남아 있었습니다. 즉, 범행의 잔혹함을 보여주는 증거 자료였죠. 이어서 증언석에 오른 FBI 수중 수색요원과 법의학 검시관. 이들의 입을 통해 전해진 시신 수습 과정과 부검 소견은 그날의 참혹함을 생생하게 증명했습니다.
My name is David B. Rogers II.
And who are you employed by?
I am employed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
And how long have you worked for the FBI?
I've been with the FBI over 20 years.
You published States Exhibit 160. And can you describe what we're looking at here?
So you're looking at that bridge, and then you're looking down off of it to the water, and that's concrete block right there. And then on the other side of that block is where the remains were recovered.
Can you zoom back? What are we looking at here?
You're looking at a different angle, but closer to the right side of where that concrete block was. And it's looking down towards the water.
What are we looking at here?
Kind of towards the middle of the screen, and then a little bit more in the middle, very middle, you can see was a hand that was barely visible out of.
Found Athena before you entered the water?
Correct.
So once she's in the water right here, what did your team then do to recover?
So Tim and I, Agent Tim Smiley and I went into the water. I was going to go, I took one side of her body, he took the other side. We grabbed her arm and her leg, and we both were trying to work our way out of the water to where we got to the other two individuals that were standing there to assist us as we came out of the water.
You said that you took some as-is photographs. So with regard to States Exhibit number 231 and 232, the as-is photographs, would you please describe?
Including her legs and feet. And so basically how I received her is that she is naked, there's no clothing, and both of her hands are covered with brown paper bags, as I referred to previously, that are actually secured around her wrists with tape.
But if you would give it sort of a synopsis and then maybe also explain as best you can in layperson's terms so we can understand it as well.
The neck has trauma, the chest is trauma. I did not appreciate any trauma on her vagina or within her vagina. And then her extremities, so the arms and the legs, also showed trauma. Her fingernails are all intact, but the fingernails themselves are dirty. The toenails are also short and dirty. The soles of her feet are dirty, but otherwise unremarkable. And then the back has trauma.
Understood. So you said smothering and strangulation are one of the possible
Two possibilities.
Two possibilities of asphyxia.
Yes.
So, and you understand that in this particular case, that the defendant, Tanner Horn, has pled guilty to the offense that he was charged with.
Yes, sir.
And that was by causing the death of Athena Strand by smothering and or strangling and or asphyxiating Athena Strand with his hands, his feet, or his body.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense given the finding that you're describing right here?
Yes, sir.
과학과 의학으로 호너의 잔혹한 살인 행위를 낱낱이 증명한 검찰. 이제 모든 퍼즐이 맞춰진 법정에 마지막 증인이 천천히 걸어 나옵니다. 바로 아테나의 새엄마였습니다.
Notice what does that appears to be on the other side of Athena in this picture?
The driveway and a water hose.
And when we talk about this, we saw a picture of where that box was.
Yes.
Is that box close or far away from where this picture's taken?
It's pretty close.
Okay. All right. And so that's Athena in that picture?
Yes.
Okay. Let me show you State's Exhibit. This is what you testified before. That's Athena in that picture?
Yes.
Do you recognize what pants she's wearing?
She's wearing the pants that I described.
Yes. State's Exhibit number 6. Do those look like the same pants or similar pants to what she's wearing?
Yes.
And is this what she looked like the last time you saw her?
Yes.
Now let me just ask you, would she have had any reason to be inside of what appears to be a van or truck at that time?
No.
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
Would she have had any reason to be in a truck with that individual that's depicted in that picture?
No.
Okay. Did you give her permission to be in that truck?
No.
Did you give her permission to be taking a ride with that individual in that picture?
No.
So we find her, you get told on that Friday that she's deceased.
Yes.
What's your reaction when you find out that Athena's no longer with us?
I lost it. I just don't know how you're going to react to something like that.
How has this affected you since that time?
I mean, a lot. It's affected me. It's affected my marriage. It affected my children.
Let's talk about that. You still married to Jacob?
No.
You think Athena being kidnapped and murdered played a role in that?
Yes.
How did Athena going missing affect Alice?
I mean, she lost her sister in the most horrific way. Even if a delivery driver just drives down the driveway, and she's outside, she runs and hides. It's affected her school. It's affected her friends. It's affected just her in general. She has nightmares.
About her sister?
Yes.
How old's Alice now?
She's 14.
It's still affecting her?
Yes.
선량한 배달원 행세를 하며 무고한 가족의 일상을 생지옥으로 만들어버린 테너. 과연 텍사스의 배심원단은 일말의 자비조차 보이지 않았던 이 악마에게 어떤 최종 판결을 내리게 될까? 2026년 5월 5일 텍사스주 와이즈 카운티 법원. 길고 치열했던 재판이 마침내 끝을 향해 가고 있었습니다.
Horner pleaded guilty to capital murder for killing 7-year-old Athena Strand in 2022, so jurors were deciding only if he would die for his crime.
모든 증인 신문이 끝나고 이제 남은 것은 양측의 최후 변론과 배심원단의 판결뿐이었습니다. 벼랑 끝에 몰린 테너 호너의 변호인단. 그런데 법정에서 내놓은 변호는 참으로 기가 막혔습니다. 피고인의 뇌가 망가졌다. 납 중독에 걸렸다. 심지어 남성 호르몬 수치가 낮아 이성적인 판단을 할 수 없었다며 호너를 도움이 필요한 불쌍한 환자로 포장하기 시작한 겁니다. 하지만 검사는 이에 굴하지 않았습니다. 검찰은 대시캠 영상 등 그동안의 증거를 다시 한번 짚으며 이 범죄는 철저한 계획 범죄이며 7살 아이를 상대로 한 얼마나 잔혹한 살인인지를 배심원들과 재판장에게 강하게 호소했습니다.
It's been a heck of a month. This is the number one thing that I think is most important right here. This is what's most important. This is why we're here. This picture sat in my office for months. And I looked at it every day. And it's a reminder on those days, why do I get up again? Why do I keep doing this? And this picture was taken, she didn't know she only had 4 days left to live. When that picture was taken. When that picture was taken, I didn't know that 6 days after that, I'd be talking to my sheriff, and you heard from him, a former Texas Ranger, a fairly grizzled veteran of law enforcement, that I'd be sitting there with him and not a dry eye between us. I knew then that I would be here in front of you. But why are we here? We're here for her. We're here for her memory, her voice, a little bow on her head, smile on her face, love in her heart. That's why we're here. She can't seek justice. We're here for her. And it should be used in only the most extreme cases. Now, those cases, intentional, cold-blooded, planning, or premeditation. Victims that can't help themselves. Children. Cases where the victim is sexually assaulted prior to their death. Cases where there's no mercy shown to the victim. Cases like this. This is what, and the reason why that Texas keeps the death penalty here. This is why. This is the type of case. In this case, the evidence, we talked about the worst of the worst and the cases that like this, cases that have planning or premeditation. Don't discount the fact that somebody decided to cover up the camera an hour before, 2 days in a row, on exactly the same road with 2 different locations with 2 little girls that were there. You saw the videos. My suspicion is those husband girls would have been first if the parents hadn't come out. They were first. Only when that didn't happen, Dina was second. So the evidence speaks for itself. When you talk about planning, it's not all just pre-planning. It's the understanding of what you're going to do after. For somebody that is having some form of catastrophe and inability to think or solve problems, out of all the random roads you could have chosen to go and sexually assault Athena, you drive right to it. You know the road, you know what's going on, you know the bumps, you know what's there. You don't pick some random road. You go to where you know it's secluded. That's planning. That's not somebody having a catastrophe and doesn't know where they are. Okay. So, but we know what he wants. We know because you heard it. That's not the eyes. That's not the look of someone who doesn't have a plan, doesn't have motivation, that hasn't thought this out, that hasn't fantasized about this. That's the look of a predator right there. It's like when Dr. Ryan got up there and said, well, he's not a pedophile. It only happened one time. I beg to differ with that. He can choke her, he can beat her, he can do it over and over again. But what do we know? We know the end result was right here. This is what it took. That's what it took to beat the life out of her. And I think that is key to this entire case. If the facts were not bad enough, if the sexual assault wasn't bad enough, the level of violence that one person can inflict on a child, including stomping them with a pair of shoes, I'm not wondering where that tread-like print came from anymore, because we know. You all saw right here, bungee cords, trying to tie somebody up. You all saw that. This is not an individual that's on some form of stress-fueled catastrophe. And the cocaine nonsense, come on. Just another lie. Just another lie. But guess what? When you know that you've been caught covering up the camera, when you know you've been caught, what do? You come up with another lie that fits your narrative. That's what you do. And that's what's happened in this case. It's lie upon lie upon lie. The only sentence in this case that gives justice to her is answering those 2 questions. Yes and no. Thank you, Judge.
숨막히는 긴장감이 법정을 감돌았습니다.
The court has received notification from the jury that they have reached a verdict. Both sides ready to receive the verdict?
Ready, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this courtroom is very full. And I do not know what this verdict is. But remember, whatever the verdict is, we're in a courtroom, all right? And there will be no reactions to the verdict, all right? Let's go to work. Good afternoon. Mr. Presiding Juror, it is my understanding the jury has reached a verdict on both issues. Okay, you'd hand it please to Deputy King.
과연 텍사스 배심원단은 이 악마에게 어떤 판결을 내렸을까? 마침내 재판장의 입에서 악마를 단죄하는 최종 판결이 떨어졌습니다.
Answers to special issues. Special issue number 1, whether there is a probability that the defendant would commit criminal acts of violence that would constitute a continuing threat to society. Answer, we, the jury, unanimously find beyond a reasonable doubt that the answer to special issue number 1 is yes. Special issue number 2, whether taking into consideration all the evidence, including the circumstances of the offense, the defendant's character and background, and the personal moral culpability of the defendant, there is a sufficient mitigating circumstance or circumstances to warrant that a sentence of life imprisonment without parole rather than a death sentence be imposed. Answer, we, the jury, unanimously find that the answer to special issue number 2 is no. Ms. Anderson, Mr. Goebel, is there any legal reason why a sentence should not be pronounced?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Horner, if you'd stand, please. It's the order of the court that you, Tanner Lynn Horner, has been adjudged to be guilty of the offense of capital murder as found by the jury. Jury having answered the special issues, making it mandatory that your punishment be death. It is therefore the order of this court that your punishment be death. Before the hour of sunrise on a date to be determined by this court, upon a mandate of affirmance issued by the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals at the State Penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas, you will be caused to die in accordance with the rules and regulations established by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice until you, said Tanner Horner, are dead. Said execution procedure shall be determined and supervised by the Director of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
여러분은 이 사건에 대해 어떻게 생각하시나요? 여러분의 생각을 댓글로 남겨주세요. 구독과 좋아요, 댓글은 영상을 만드는데 큰 힘이 됩니다. 감사합니다. 처벌 실화냐?